just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke. On that day, just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke. It could be you. It happened to me. Never thought it could happen to me. On that day, just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke. On that day, just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing tonight? Woo! As you can see, I got my tie on. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. You know, it's another great day. Welcome to another episode of You're Too Young to Have a Stroke. You know, this is a show that, you know, two stroke survivors, AVM survivors, have come together and wanted to express their life as a stroke survivor, AVM survivor, to the world. And tonight is no different. Tonight we're going to have our discussion about letting your brain heal. That is the most important thing for us to do, is letting our brain heal. And before you do what? You know, there's a lot of things that you can actually do. You know, for me, for myself, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I did not let my brain completely heal before I made a lot of decisions. And the decisions I made cost me in the long run, but I still don't have regrets about it. And I'm bringing this up to you guys because you might be in your first stage of your recovery. That means that you just had your stroke, you're coming home, and the first thing you're thinking to yourself is, I need to become stronger. I need to go back to work. I need to make money. I need to live by myself. I need to get out the hospital, whatever it is. What I'm saying here to you today is that you have to let your brain heal before you go and do those particular things. So, yes, we're going to have this show. I'm going to bring Christina on in a moment, but I wanted to address things on my own before she comes on. So I got the show and she can't do anything about it. So honestly, you know, and like I said all the time, I allow you guys to come on here and put your comments and whatever you want to say to us, you can actually do. But if you really think about it, you know, when you have your stroke, when you have some type of brain trauma, one thing that we don't completely understand is that a lot of things is happening and our brain is restarting. And we thinking that it's normal, but it's not normal. We have to really consider that our life is starting over again, and we have to be patient with ourselves. I hear a lot of people say that I can't do this. This is not worthwhile. They get suicidal thoughts. They want to take away their lives. They want to go through divorce. They want to leave home. All those different things. And one thing that you have to remember is that at this particular time, your brain might even be hallucinating. So, and if you know anything about hallucination, is that it seems real, but in reality, it is off. Everything is off. So you have to have the mindset, and unfortunately, I know you're probably hallucinating this time, but you have to have the mindset of that. Have to be patient and trust into the process. I talked to one particular individual. His name is Dr. Tom Broussard, and I asked him a question: what is one thing that you will leave for a stroke survivor in their first year of recovery? He said, give it a year, give it time, be patient. Don't rush it in your first year, because there's a lot of things that's happening. The nuance is refiring. You know, a lot of part of your brains has been deteriorated or completely gone. So the neuroplasticity has to come back or transform into a new type of wiring, and your body has to adapt to that. So with that being in mind, you as a stroke survivor have to be able to be prepared to wait a particular set of time for your body to heal, your mind to heal, your emotions to heal. And if you don't give yourself that, your life can really turn upside down. And then all of a sudden, when you do come into focus, into consciousness, you realize that everything has been taken away from you and you can't do nothing about it. And it's very hard. Um, it's very heartache because people don't realize that you don't have this actual thing going on with you. And now I know that I myself don't understand this completely as a stroke survivor in my initial phase, but I do have my friend. Her name's Christina, and you know her. She's the one that is always telling me that I'm not sensitive enough to people. So hopefully she can tell us that I am sensitive enough, and I do understand what I'm talking about today. But in the past, I probably didn't. So Christina is going to come on, and I'm going to bring her onto our show, and hopefully she could agree or disagree to what I'm actually talking about right now. So, my friend Christina, how you doing, sister?
Good evening. You look nice.
Oh, thank you. I put the tie on for you.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Thank you.
You look nice too,
It's
sister.
a little stormy, so my lighting's not. Huh?
I said you look nice too.
What'd you say? I couldn't.
I said you
Thank you.
nice
I appreciate it. The lighting's a little rough. So, topic: letting your brain heal before you. I hear you kind of touching on a couple of things. A question that I myself have asked, and I'm sure other people would ask, is what does that even mean? Like, letting your brain heal. Does that mean that you no longer have a problem? That what happened is healed? What does that mean to you?
Well, it's an open-ended type of topic that we have tonight, Christina. And I left it open-ended because it could mean a multiple different things. It could be letting your brain heal before you go and divorce somebody, letting your brain heal before you start a new business. Let your brain heal before you say, okay, I am independent and I don't need anybody. Let your brain heal before you make major decisions that's going to affect your life forever. Whatever that could be, that's a discussion that we want to have. I know for myself as a stroke survivor, I made a lot of decisions, and they might have been good, it might have been bad, indifferent, whoever knows, but they were done at a point of my life that I didn't truly understand what I was doing with myself. I think in the first 2-3 years, every 3 months, I know I was different after my stroke, and I thought, yeah, it was crazy because I thought I was ready. Then 3 months later, I'm like, oh man, that's something new. I didn't realize that I was missing that. And then I thought I was ready then. And then another 3 months go by, I'm like, oh, I missed that too. And if I had known that, or if I would be more diligent of what I was doing, I'd be more prepared. And so that's the whole concept behind this, because I don't think that people realize that we are resetting our minds, resetting our lives, and we're really off, but we think we're on. That's why I said, take your time, let your brain heal before you start making major decisions of your life.
And that we have no power over it. Saying that we are resetting. Of course, the things in which we're doing or engaging in helps that healing process. But what's very important to kind of make sure to reiterate is that your brain is healing itself. I mean, the decisions that we're making can either slow the process. There's nothing to essentially speed that process up. There is no time frame. Were you given a time frame as far as recovery that you remember?
Yes and no. I heard people talking about it. It's going to be a year for me to actually be better and is a certain amount of what better is going to be like, and after that it's going to be like a plateau effect. But for me in particular, the doctor saying that to me, no, nobody actually said, Greg, this is what your time span is going to be.
Okay. I don't believe I received a time span. I do recall hearing with traumatic brain injuries that a year is usually the recovery time. To recovery time to what though?
That's a great question. So what
You know,
does that mean to you? A year for what?
what I essentially thought was a year until I was able to be myself again, not a year to open up more years of recovery. I didn't think that that was going to be the case. I definitely was not well informed on the different changes that I would be going through, the personality changes. Um, I feel like I got more information on, for instance, the loss of vision aspect, the rehabilitation, the physical rehabilitation, but not so much on the emotional healing that comes with it, which essentially is with your brain. You know, your brain is the motherboard. That's with it being a little messed up, things aren't going to be
Yeah.
normal. And I don't like to say messed up, but rewired, or I don't know, refurbished. I like refurbished.
You
A
like refurbished?
refurbished brain.
That sounds like
Yeah, a
we're
refurbished
computers and things
brain.
like that. I don't want to be a computer. I don't want to be electronic. Yeah, that was a very interesting thing that you just said. You know, people didn't really explain to me about the emotional side of it or the mental side of it. But there is something that you said that it really struck with me, and I had to really think about it. Um, being yourself again, like what does that actually mean? Like for me, I hear that and I'm like, I'm never going to be that person again. Like the teenager Gregory, I'm never going to be him again. That guy that was in his 30s, that's long gone. I don't think like that. I don't have that drive like that. So my mind is completely different. So after my stroke, pre-stroke Gregory didn't give a rat's butt about stroke or stroke survivor or hemorrhage or anything like that. Like, don't even think about it. So why am I trying to become who I
Mhm.
was before? Because before and who I am now is two different people. You understand what I'm saying with that?
Absolutely. Being familiar, I think that's that concept of going back is being familiar and knowing yourself completely. You're relearning yourself
Exactly.
now.
Exactly. That's why
But that's not
I don't
always a
understand.
positive thing for people.
I didn't hear you.
It's not always a positive thing for people.
Break that down. What do you mean?
You're not making that decision on your own. You didn't make that decision on your own. Um, Going through what you went through, I'll speak in my terms, having a stroke and having my brain rewired, that wasn't my decision.
Okay.
Uh, that wasn't my decision to have the certain qualities that have changed about me to really change. What's my decision is how I deal with it now. It's how I either welcome it or try to make, steps to change it. And I say that like, that it's not a positive thing to everyone, because there's a lot of personality traits that I believe some of us have gotten that aren't positive, being irritable, very, easily irritable. With some people having speech problems, not being able to communicate properly. Your empathy. a lot of things aren't necessarily positive, and I want to make sure people realize that. I know that I'm like a Care Bear, and I try to bring positivity, and but I know this is not always positive. It's
There
not,
was
change
there was a
isn't always
grumpy Care
good.
Bear too. There was a grumpy Care Bear too. So all Care Bears wasn't happy.
Well, that's unfortunate, but thankfully you actually have a part in the Care Bear. Now that's established, because obviously the grumpy one's not me. With that being said, I get it, I get that it's not always a positive situation. Um, and it's not that I don't believe it, but I like to be optimistic. I feel that that's a very good quality to have within this journey, is optimism.
We have a question from Destiny, one of our number one fans. Hey guys, what aspect of yourself did you measure to track your healing process? I said the question, so you answer it. I read it.
What did you measure to track your healing progress? My relationships with people. How I was able to deal with certain situations, whether it be friendships, work relationships, family relationships. I feel that that is a very good way of measuring your healing progress. I say that in the sense that you're opening up to these people. If you have these close relationships with these people, um, building the trust that these people are taking into consideration what it is that you're going through, or maybe trying to learn. Also for me, getting back to work was huge. Getting back to work, driving, and being able to live on my own, and not having somebody check my pressure and my vitals every 30 minutes. Greg?
For me, it was it was completely different. It was like I'm a glutton for punishment. I do things to see how it feels, and it was no different with my stroke recovery. I would put myself in situations and see if I could come out of it, or I would put myself in situations that I knew I was able to deal with before I had my stroke, and see how I can adapt to it now. And I was noticing that I couldn't do the things I couldn't do that I used to do before. So it put me in a place of, okay, I know I can't do this, so I have to adapt and curtail it a little bit. This goes with dating. This was going with trying to find work, trying to live on my own. All these things, I realized what my downsides were. So by doing those experimentations on myself, that was my litmus test to find out how good I was or how bad I was, and what I needed to work on harder in order for me to be the person that I wanted to be.
Yeah, I resonate with that. So you were trying things that you essentially, the person you were before, you're dabbling in that.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Absolutely. That's all I knew.
Okay.
That's all I knew. I would go on dates on people that I used to date before in the past, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't work for me. I don't like this. I literally had people that I gave money to, because I felt like I needed to be the type of person I was before. I could give away $500. I could go on all inclusive trips, and then I realized I can't do that now. I'm nowhere close to that. I don't have that mentality. That doesn't thrive. That doesn't thrill me anymore. So things like that, really, really hit home with me, and then that made me realize that I was being immature. And that's not the stuff I wanted to do no more. I was upset with myself before my stroke by doing those things. So why was I going back to it? So it was a up and down type of situation. I didn't know if I was supposed to do these type of things because I didn't have any therapy. I didn't have anybody that understood it. You know, when I met you, it was a, and I bring this up a lot, but you know, it's very vital that I explain this because you and I are when I first met you, I was like, oh, this girl's a little firecracker. I like that, but that's what I used to like before, and I used to be attracted to that. Not to say that you're a bad person, but that's not the person I really need to date anymore. You know, I need this person, that firecracker, to be on my side, to be my friend, to be my sister, because she thinks like me. It's not necessarily I'm attracted to that. It's just I like it, and that energy is around me, and that's what I'm supposed to be. And what I used to do before was just date women like that, and that was not the right person to date. That's the person that's supposed to be my friend. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. You need a firecracker because you need someone to put some fire
I need a
by you
Christina.
to calm you down a little bit. That's really what you need. You do. Which is, you know, it's essential, which is good because how are you going to learn if you're having someone just consistently agree with you, right? And vice versa, you know, same thing with me. I find it interesting that I get described as a firecracker a lot, where I think I've actually toned down a lot. Would you say no?
I don't know. I don't know you before your stroke, so I just know you as a firecracker.
Oh, exactly. Anyway,
So you must have been like dynamite before.
pretty much. Pretty much. I say in that instance that spirit of me, that firecracker is absolutely what helped me get to where I am right now. And I know I have so much further to go, but that spirit of mine, wherever that comes from, and you know, my ancestors and just everything where that comes from, that is definitely why I am where I am today. Having that spirit and having that extra push that I don't essentially need to get from anyone, that comes from within.
But
And
how did you get there, Christina? Like, how did you actually really get there? You know, I explained to my, you know, to the audience that, you know, I experimented a lot. You know, you said, you know, you
mhm.
realized you could drive, you could realize do that, but what made you get up out the couch and say, you know what, I am going to do this, but I'm going to be, you know, mindful that it might not work the first time I do it. And like you said, it's a process, you know, you moving forward to it. Like, what got you there?
Survival mode. Um, I grew up in a household, a survival mode household. Um, I've put myself pretty much within my life in survival mode situations. This was another aspect of survivor, or, you know, survivor mode. Like, I didn't want to be looked at as though I wasn't able to take care of myself. I did not want to feel as though others or this stroke AVM had control over my life. Um, I needed to have a sense of control, and the only way to do that was by making mistakes, you know, and by making some good decisions. You mentioned, you know, dating. We're speaking about having time for your brain to heal. I absolutely started dating way too soon. Um, but that's because I felt like I needed that human connection. You know, although I was in a house with other people, I was alone. Um, and I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people. Just because people aren't there doesn't mean that you essentially have someone there. And I felt very alone. The other thing that we have spoken about on the podcast is that I was not surrounded by people or interacted with people who were other stroke survivors. I was surrounded by people who were not stroke survivors. So that empathy or that understanding of like, hey, you really need to take it slow, or maybe you're pushing yourself too hard. I didn't get that as much. So that allowed me to push myself harder, if that makes sense.
So was that a detriment to you? Because like when you told me, when I first met you and I did an interview with you before, you were saying that, I didn't want to go on disability. I'm going right back to work. Was that wise for you to do? Or hindsight, was it wise or was it not wise?
I honestly wouldn't be able to answer that because I know what my life is like now. Um, I guess the question would be, do I regret not pursuing going to disability? And the answer would be, I do not. I do not regret not. I did apply. I was denied. And that was it. I got denied once and I kept it moving. I said, then it's time for me to get my life together and figure out a way and get my life back. I don't believe so. I try to live my life with no regrets. I don't believe so. Now, do I think I obviously needed more therapy and more time? Absolutely. But this is not the type of world we live in where, you can be supported and have the financial means to be able to live while going and recovering from a disability.
So let's
So
let's
that's
let's
my
dive into this a little bit more because you're saying something pretty interesting, and I don't understand this aspect of it initially. I do. Kate, I mean, eventually I got to that point, but when I had my stroke, I still was married. I still had a wife, um, and then eventually it deteriorated. But I remember you was telling me you wasn't married. You was already divorced at that particular time, and you was single. Am I right? So you had to make a lot of decisions on your own. So for the viewers out there that have this same type of scenario that you had, um, what do you recommend that they should not rush into as being a single person stroke survivor?
Don't run into anything that you're not sure you can handle. The biggest thing for me was being a giver. And, you kind of dabbled on it, how, you were giving women dollars and trips and stuff. Um, being single and being a giver, well, you're going through this recovery process. That energy has to be for you. That time, that patience, that relearning, just like you would do with dating, of putting all that energy into learning someone and trying to find, that middle point where you need that for yourself. You need that for yourself because you will be relearning yourself.
Well,
So
hold
if
on.
anything, just
You're scratching the surface. I want you to go a little bit deeper than that, because what I'm asking you is that in our first year,
what?
let's go back to that time. In our first year after our stroke, we thought that
Mhm.
we knew everything. We thought we was okay. We thought that life was going to be just peaches and cream, and then we realized, oh crap, I didn't do this right. Like you said, you went to dating real fast and you knew you supposed to take some time. Now, hindsight, if you took some time to really find yourself, you would have saved yourself some heartache. Okay. So
Lots.
what because I know there are stroke survivors right now probably looking at this like, yeah, I am good, but they really not. They really, really, really not. They don't understand it yet. What do
Mm-mm.
you recommend them to do as a single person stroke survivor in their first year that they need to take care of because their mind is not right? I don't know any stroke survivor mind is right after their a massive stroke survivor mind is right after their first year. What do you say that you went through that they need to not do?
you can't trust yourself.
Yeah, I get that.
You can't trust yourself. And that took a lot. I was really trying to, that pause that you all saw was me trying to figure out a way of saying it so it's not discouraging, but I need to be transparent. And you can't trust yourself. You're not healed yet. You cannot trust your judgment. You need to question your judgment. You need to question your feelings. You need to question your motives. We spend so much time questioning other people's motives, other people's like you have to do that for yourself. And I would say even further than a year. A year is nothing.
Yeah,
I would say
great.
2, 3. Again, everyone is different. Everyone's situation is different. I was single, but if I'm speaking about a single person, you're not ready after 2 years. And the only way, I mean, self-reflection, taking time to learn yourself. And I will honestly say, even experience dating. I think it's appropriate to have interaction with people because you also want to see how you're different. You can't get that from sitting there and learning yourself. You're going to get that by being in certain situations, similar to what you did. You put yourself in those scenarios, not because you were testing yourself, you were learning yourself. How are you going to learn that that's something you no longer want or need if you're
But
not
I had no
actually
reference book. I
experiencing
had
it?
nobody to tell me this is right. Well, this was wrong. I had to see it for myself because nobody, as a stroke survivor, was a Black man in his mid-40s having 2 children and going through a divorce. And I had to figure this out all on my own. And it was very hard. Yeah, absolutely. So I wasn't testing myself. I was experimenting. I was trying to find out what worked. Absolutely.
Experiment is a test.
Okay, I guess so. Let's experiment, test. Well, I wasn't experimenting on myself. I wasn't testing myself. I was experimenting with situations.
And how you would deal with them.
If they fit.
I know you. I would also say, as being single, making sure you have a good tribe around you is very essential. Making sure you have a positive, you know, system around you or people, whether it be 1 or 2 people that are transparent with you too, and who are telling you like some of the decisions may not be right. Not someone who's just going to agree with you because, again, I said you can't trust yourself. You're not whole yet. It feels like you are. You start driving, you start working, you get back on social media, and then you start experiencing real things, and you really realize you're not ready. You weren't ready. You take a couple steps back. Now, Greg, you are no longer working, correct? Okay. Um,
That is correct.
how with letting your brain heal, has there been a transition within this recovery time that you felt like you were ready to go back? That the
Yes.
decisions you made when you went on disability?
Yes. I tried to start working on a volunteer basis and it didn't work. I wasn't efficient enough. I wasn't organized enough. I was tired too much. Um, too much pain. I couldn't focus. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't be creative. So all these things that I used to do before, I couldn't do it. Like even with this show, I do things on this show, but it takes me a very long time to do it. And it's fortunate that we only do it once a week. But if this was an everyday thing, this I wouldn't be able to do it.
You and I both.
Right. So with that being said, that's what was went through my head. Like I thought I was able to. I thought I was ready to. And I guess with discipline and repetitiveness, I could actually get this done. But it drains the living daylights out of me. It really does. And then once it drains me, I go into a dark place for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't like that. But something very interesting, was talking about, you was talking about the aspect of, being single, but it was very hard for me to do this recovery, being even married or being with somebody, because the day before I had my stroke, I was one way and we understood each other this way. The day after my stroke, I was on a totally different planet. I didn't I didn't think the same exact way. And it was hard for to have conversations with people, even with the person that I was with, because the things that they were saying didn't make sense to me, or I didn't tolerate it anymore. And that made it much difficult. So I made very rational decisions, but I couldn't take it anymore. I was having anxiety attacks. Um, I was going to the hospital for anxiety attack, felt like heart attacks. So I didn't want to go through that anymore. But in hindsight, if I did have more understanding, I would went different paths to actually make sure that it wouldn't go down that road so terribly. It was like a plane crashing and there was fire everywhere. I just said, I don't care. Let's crash it to the ground. But if I had took more time, maybe we still would have got a divorce, but it wouldn't have been that bad of a divorce and so much animosity towards each other, because my mind was completely different. But that's hard to explain to people. It's very hard. I don't know how to explain that to a person that's a non-stroke survivor, what we're actually going through, because we seem normal. We look normal, we act normal, but we're not. And it's very hard to tell people that. I think we just get adjusted. Like with yourself, you said you're blind in one eye. It's hard to tell that you're blind in one eye, but I think you just got
Where I
adjusted
can
to it.
tell.
Yeah, but you can tell.
I
But
say that to you all the time.
yeah, you say, but you have adjusted to it, and you can't say you haven't, because I know in the beginning it probably was irritating you. Like people say, well, you do this, but I can't see it. I can't see it. And you get mad about that. But now you adjust it, so now your tolerance is a little bit higher. But before, you was on edge. So I think for us, to tell people you need to have patience. Like you said, not trusting yourself. You're not reliable yet. You're like a newborn. You're like a little puppy. You're cute, but you're a puppy. You're wild, and you have to get accustomed to this new world that you're living in. And once you get accustomed to that new world, then you can make these vital decisions that you need for your life. I know you talked about dating. Let's talk about that a little bit. I know for me, my first year after I left my wife, a year after I had my stroke, and I was on my own. So I dibble dabbled and tried to date people while I was separated. And it was bad, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. And then once I stopped trying to date and really understand myself, then I was able to date again. Can you speak on that? Did you have that same type of scenario with yourself?
Where I was dating the wrong people?
Well, you was dating the wrong people. Then did you have this epiphany and say, I need to really find out who I am, and then allow who I am dictate what type of people come into my life instead of searching for those wrong people?
Absolutely. Again, and I wouldn't have been able to figure that out if I didn't experience the things I experienced, correct? Or if I didn't experience the certain situations that I went through. Dating in general is hard. You don't have to be a stroke survivor to go through the struggle. Listen, dating in general is bad news right now, and it has been. It's very difficult. I think where we're coming from is that being a stroke survivor adds a whole nother level of difficulty within it. But dating in general is very difficult. And we're now in a time where the social interaction, of course, it was COVID. No one's meeting face to face. We're not out, at a park and run into each other. You're online dating. And then that brings that whole aspect of trying to have the attention span. With all that being said, I was not looking for a connection. I thought I was. I put on my profile that I was, the people in which I started relationships with, I felt like I was. But again, being a giver, and I'm very good with tapping into people and really finding what makes them happy and makes them whole and providing that. I needed that for myself. And it wasn't until I felt I had nothing else left in my cup that I took that time for myself. At the moment, it was very fulfilling for me to be able to bring happiness and joy and things, that sorts of people. And I'm sure headaches, lots of them, and stress dealing with me. But anytime that I've put my heart out there and I've loved someone, I have loved them whole. And I needed to do that for myself.
I'm gonna have to say cap on that. I'm gonna have to say cap on dating is hard. Wow. Dating is not hard.
Who?
Dating is not hard.
Really? How's that going for you?
It's excellent. But what I'm saying to you is that it's not hard. It's not hard. And
it is hard.
I'm gonna explain the reason why I say it's not hard. Huh? You listening? Are you listening? You waiting? Okay. So that's why I was talking about.
I am
finding who you was first, and once you found out who you were, things fell into place. I think before, we was going out there trying to find people with the mentality of we didn't even know who we were, and we was dating people that we thought fit into our particular our life. But once we figure out who we were, we didn't even have to search for the people anymore. They came into our life because that's what we was attracted.
Yes.
So that's why I say I don't think dating is hard. I think what people are doing nowadays are trying to date and they don't even understand who they are. And now they get frustrated because they keep on getting bad people. But that's who you asking for. You basically asking for people that doesn't fit into your life because you don't even know who you are. So that's why I say that's why I say, let your brain heal. It's not just for stroke survivors, it's for anybody. Because I think people take for granted their brains and how they are mentally unstable, or they have some childhood traumas that they live in on, they're attaching to their day in and day in life, and they haven't allowed themselves to grow into who they're supposed to be. And once they grow into who they're supposed to be, everything will fall into place. You get, you will say to me, and you say this almost every episode of me, he's like, Gregory, you're sensitive. You don't care about other people feeling. Like, I really don't care what you feel because that's your feelings. You have to work on that. It's called self-esteem. It's your self-esteem. I can't hold back who I am because I'm scared of I'm scared of hurting your feelings. I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna be real.
That's first of all, that's not what I say. That's not what I say. What I say is your delivery.
Whatever. My delivery.
Listen, I am the queen of being able to tell you where to take it without even using one word of profanity. I'm like, you're such good for you. I hope that works out for you. In any case, and continue on. I said your delivery. You're ready. You have like a very dominant nature. That's fine. You can have that. You can make your point across. It's just sometimes your delivery is a little rough around the edges, so that automatically people aren't hearing your words, they're hearing your tone. Body language speaks before actual words. Your body language.
Once again, that's self feeling, self-reflection, self-esteem. That has nothing to do
No,
with me.
it's called interpersonal skills, sir.
Nope, no, that's not interpersonal skills. Absolutely incorrect.
Interpersonal skills,
Incorrect.
communication.
Incorrect. Because if that was the case, how I speak to everybody would be offended with me, and nobody would talk to me. Some people deal with it. Some people are appreciative of it. Some people feel offended by it. I can't help you because you're offended. I can't help it that you feel good about it. It's what it is. It's the truth to me. And this is how I feel. This is how I want to talk. This is how I talk. If you don't like it, kick rocks.
They
If you do like
absolutely
it,
can
let's
kick
go
rocks.
in.
They absolutely can kick rocks.
And
I
I'm
just
fine with
think that your delivery sometimes, I think sometimes you don't notice it.
I
And
don't
then
care.
you're like, I don't care. And I'm
I don't
like,
care.
okay, well, just fine, you know, your
I really don't
delivery
care.
was off.
I don't care. I really don't, because
We have completely established that more than once on this beautiful podcast. You're too young to have a stroke. That is established.
Seriously. You know why? You know why I said I don't care? And I'm not trying to really bring religion into it, but even Jesus would even talk to people, and he would be very rude and curt, and people like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why you talk that way? I'm like, it is what it is. That's how it was. Like, that's your feelings. I can't help you because your feelings feel a certain type of way because you're offended. That's your problem. You need to deal with that. And once you finish dealing with that, come back to reality.
So then what would you say to someone who hasn't had a stroke and is speaking to you in a different tone of delivery and then says, I don't care that it's difficult for you to understand me because you had a stroke. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. It is up to you to figure out your emotions as to why you're reacting the way that you're reacting.
You're saying two different things.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Once you're saying, they don't understand me, and then the other one is saying they have a certain feeling towards what I say. That's two different things. If they don't understand me, then I can have to try to change what I'm saying to them so they can understand what I'm saying to them. That's one thing. Now, if I say something to them and they get offended, that's two different things. They understand what I said. They're just offended by it. That's two different things.
Okay. Well, I'll reiterate.
Okay.
What I just said
I didn't understand
was, yeah. Oh no. Clarity, necessity. What I said is if somebody says that to you and then you react a certain way is similar to you saying something to somebody and their delivery, like how they took on what you just said to them. Feeling and actually understanding are two different things.
Yes.
The eyebrows don't help. Correct. I'm not worried about someone's feeling. It's about the understanding. Hence, I say the delivery. You want someone to understand you. That's the reason why you're saying what you're saying, is it not? Not to make them feel a certain way. You want them to understand.
But once again, they never say they don't understand. They just said you hurt my feelings. That's two different things. They understood exactly what I said. Huh?
I'm not worried about whether or not they understood you. I said their feelings. Delivery.
Like I said, I don't care about their feelings. Your feelings will change.
On another note.
No. We're gonna drill down on it. Like one day you was married and you love that man. Now you're not with that person no more. Your feelings have changed, but you still understand that that person's still alive. That's still a person, a man, and you understand that he was your husband. But you don't love him no more. You have changed. Your feelings change. Your feelings always change. So why do I care about something that's going to change tomorrow when understanding and truth will always stand? Just because I deliver it a certain way, that's your problem. You have something to deal with. I don't. I'm going to move on with my life and go about my business. You're stuck there because you felt offended. That's your problem.
And so with them not being able to respond to you, you would take that as then it's just not meant to be. Then it's not meant to be understood. So in relation to this topic of today, of letting your brain heal, is this something you feel that you've obtained or maybe have gained a better understanding of as far as with communication? If someone takes it the wrong way or if they feel a different way, that has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them.
Absolutely.
You feel that this is something that came from
Absolutely.
the group. Yeah? Okay.
Christina,
Elaborate on that.
Christina, duck. Or Christina, duck. I warned you. I told you to duck. You didn't duck.
Yeah, you're a Virgo. I'm an Aries.
No, but I'm saying that now we have classification of what it is. It's really cut and dry. Like if someone came to you and tell you, Christina, you had an aneurysm and your AVM ruptured, and if they screamed it to you versus saying it silently, it doesn't make a difference. The information is still the same. And I don't care if that doctor was a prick. You still know that you had an AVM. You might not like how he said it to you or she said it to you, but you still had an AVM. The truth is still the truth. So that's what I learned. Like I got to stop sugarcoating things for people because I'm scared for their feelings instead of just giving them the truth. The truth will set you free. It doesn't say I have to be nice to set you free. I have to talk to you sweetly to make sure you understand me. I'm not going to call you a name. I'm not going to call you out your name. I'm just going to give you the truth. Now, usually when people get hurt by the truth, that's some underlying issues that they have going on.
Which again has nothing to do with a person.
If I told you your breath stink, how can I say that to you nicely?
Would you like a piece of gum?
Well, are you saying my breath stink? Yes. What do you want me to say? No, your breath doesn't stink. I didn't think you need something gum. No, I'm going to tell you the truth. I love you. I literally love you. And I'm going to tell you the truth. It might not be pretty, but it's the truth. But people, what I have realized after my stroke, what people have come accustomed to is sweet words of lies. They want to be lied to, but they don't want to be lied to. They want to be like, no, your breath doesn't stink. I just think I want you to try this flavor. So I'm lying to you. Your breath stinks. Do something about it. No, you know what? This gum is so great. I love how it feels in my mouth. I think you should try it. Even though I'm convincing you, I'm manipulating you to try some gum because your breath stinks instead of telling you the truth. I ain't doing that. Got no time for that. That's what I have learned from this. Someone said they have so much they want to say. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that, hey,
Hi, girl.
I don't care.
I love me.
I don't care. I really don't care.
And it's okay to not care. It's okay to not care. But I feel like if you're putting the energy out to say something to someone, for me personally, of course, I'm not going to go to extensive lengths. I'm going to say what I need to say. Hey, Rizzo. And hope that you understand. I'm not worried about hurting feelings. Get out of your emotions. By emphasis, make a difference. Show my emotion over height because my brain is still in the early stages.
I agree with you, Facebook user. Exactly. Get out of your emotions, but emphasis makes a difference. When I first had a stroke, my emotions were heightened because my brain was still in the early stages of healing. Exactly, man. Why are we wasting time on emotions? That is the last thing we really need to worry about, man. People too sensitive.
A lot to get there. But we're speaking across the board for people. What I'm saying is, when you essentially go through this, that is extremely heightened. And that's what you go through, where after time and really healing, you have to let go of it, because you can't hold on for other people. You can't take care of other people's emotions. But for us, I know it was all about emotions. Now, very much, I believe I've said it before, that thinking logically, that doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's not right. It doesn't
So
make sense
is that
that,
emotional?
hmm?
Is that emotional? What you just
What?
said? If it doesn't make sense, it's not right. Like that's emotional for you?
No, that's logical for
It's
me.
logical.
Yeah, that's what I just said, Greg.
Okay,
I
I'm with you. So I don't know why we even talking about this. Because I don't care if people don't
we're
understand me or not.
talking about it because we didn't get to where we are now by being logical. We went through emotions.
No, I
I
was
know
very
you
logical.
went through emotions,
Nope,
huh?
absolutely not. I was very logical.
Throughout this entire process.
Yep. I let my emotions be crucified. Like Lauryn Hill said back in what 98, 99, says to let your emotions be crucified.
Yeah, I was too young to hear that, but I'm glad you're showing your age on this beautiful Wednesday evening.
Hey man, I'm 47. I love it. I got the gray hair. My daughter said, "Look at you, daddy. You look like snow on your chin." I'm like, "Hey man, that's what it is. I don't care. I embrace life.
It's very fitting.
I embrace life."
No, but I said that the reason why I brought that up is because we don't come out of this logical. You and I had to go through things to get where we are now. You have to highlight on that because what's the purpose of us bringing light to things if we're skipping steps of having information? I know you're saying you were logical throughout the whole thing. Good for you. I personally was not. I was very much into emotions. My feelings were everywhere.
Well, okay.
Everywhere.
Okay, so I guess I need to correct what I'm saying. Yes, the emotion was actually there, but they wasn't my governing body to make my decisions. It wasn't. I didn't make decisions based off of my emotions. My decisions,
Thank you.
all of my decisions that I made since I had my stroke, were extremely logical. I think before my stroke, my decisions were made based off emotions. Now that's why I say I don't care. Is that I said this before. When I had my stroke, I wasn't sad. I didn't think, oh my goodness, I'm about to die. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't dealing with um, uh, insecurities. All those things were gone from my mind. So I was like, if you're going to die and you don't think about those things, why do you live with them? So I made a conscious effort to not make decisions based off of my feelings. So when I hear people saying, no, you hurt my feelings, I'm like, how can me, hurt your feelings? That makes no sense to me. It's something that I said that triggered you,
Mm-hmm.
that you have some kind of trauma that you haven't dealt with in your past that is bubbling to the surface now, and you're blaming it on me. I can't accept that because that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
Nor when
that's
I leave
absolutely.
you, nor when I leave you, am I thinking about it. So it's definitely not something I did. It's something that you did. You haven't taken care of. And that's what I think we're talking about this whole entire episode is not necessarily you shouldn't go date, you shouldn't live by yourself, but you should be very patient with yourself and being forgiving of yourself and stop being emotional about what's happening to you, because that could make you really be very depressed. It could bring on anxiety instead of just dealing with the moment and being present and try to be logical with your thought process so you could start your healing. And I and I'm not trying to speak for you, but it seemed like you're in a good place, but you have accepted your eyesight. But if you haven't accepted your eyesight and you're still emotional about that, you probably wouldn't be able to get out of bed every day. But you started becoming logical with it and you move forward. So you've been patient, you've been kind, you start healing. And those are the healing that we've been trying to talk about this whole episode. Is not necessarily the physical stuff, it's about the emotional and mental stuff that we was forced. And I think you used that word early in the episode. We was forced into this life and we had to adapt. A lot of people don't be not forced into this actual life that they have to adapt to not having certain things that they probably will never get back again, that physically on their body they cannot get back again. So they don't think about what they need to be logical or to be emotional. They stay in their emotions.
Yeah.
While we don't have a choice. If we want to breathe, if we want to eat, we gotta get out of our emotions and get up. So that's why I say I don't really care if my delivery comes off wrong. That's on you.
That delivery was, do you feel the way because of?
Oh, I guess she said that before I even had said it. Yeah, I definitely feel that way after my stroke. You know, I don't really care anymore. If you don't like it, hey, I'm not your cup of tea. I'm fine with that. And I think that's the problem with people, that we don't amicably tell people, hey, we don't belong in the same circle. And it's fine. A lot of times we're like, okay, we have to have an argument. I have to hate you. That's how I discard you. I don't have to discard you because I hate you. Just we don't fit. You know, some people like Coca-Cola, some people like Pepsi. Doesn't mean that they can't be friends. It just they have a preference. That's what it is. Is this your preference?
No longer in alignment.
Pretty much.
And that goes for family and friends. Yeah. It
Yes.
no longer aligns with the person you are.
Everyone has feelings and everyone's emotions are valid, but sometimes the emotions need to be tamed. Absolutely. I believe that's Rosanna thinking
Yes.
that again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And and once, and that's like I was saying, Christine, that's what I was trying to bring out in this show. When you asked me what this topic is all about, is like be kind to yourself. You know, be kind to your mind. Let it heal. Like, I don't know if stroke survivors realize this, or people that had near-death experiences realize this. You have a second chance to start your life completely over again. Everybody that had a stroke that I spoke to, their life is completely changed. So you have a chance to redefine who you are. If you messed it up before the stroke and now you starting life over again, okay, don't do the same exact thing that you didn't like. Start over. That's what we're doing. We're starting over. So give yourself some time to heal yourself, and live. Now, I mean, sister,
Live. It's a lot harder. Live for it all, and for yourself.
Get up. If you can't move, you know, have people visit you. You know, whatever it is, but give yourself some time to find who you are. Because and I guarantee you this, and this is the one guarantee that I'm going to give you, people out there. If you really start loving yourself and find out who you are, I guarantee you your life will be completely different when you thought everything was just completely bad for you. Knowing yourself will set you completely free. Whatever that is, knowing yourself, not bowing down to other people's opinion of you or doing things to please other people. Once you say, I don't care what you think about me, and you're doing things that you love and it helps you and it's not hurting nobody else, live. Your life is going to go to the moon and back. I don't care if you can't walk anymore. Your life will be so purposeful. You just don't understand how bountiful it will be. I got one thing to say to you, Christina.
Yes, sir.
So I had a situation, right? Me and my daughter are going to go somewhere. We're going on this train trip. And it was amazing. I got everything paid for and everything. And once I got everything paid for, I said to myself, crap, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money for to get to taxis and things of that nature, because I'm going to need taxes and food fare. So I couldn't figure out how I'm going to get this. I needed $100 more. I don't know how I'm going to get it. I'm like, and I just stopped thinking about it. I stopped pressuring myself that I had to get this done. Don't you know I got $100? Exactly what I need, because I stopped worrying about it. I manifested. I prayed, I meditated, and it came to me. So that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm not concerned about what you feel. That's your problem. I'm concerned about me being in alignment with myself and being honest. That's what I wanted to tell you. Well, yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have people. That's what Christina been saying this whole time. My delivery sucks. You know, people are gonna have take it differently because of lack of understanding, and that's fine. But sooner or later, either they're gonna start understanding, or they're gonna live their life being sugarcoated. And they want to be told lies all their life and be nice and be sweet with things. And I'm not doing that.
And then as far as the delivery, one thing that just across um, is that, yes, Rizal, there is a balance.
Yeah,
You
how come you
know,
can say her name right? When I first met this person, I couldn't say her name right. You know Rizal?
Rizal,
Yes.
it's pretty clear. I mean, there's even the apostrophe to give you that zzz to stop. Rizal.
Okay. When I met her, she gonna beat me up for this. But when I met up, I was chopping up her name.
Oh, I could imagine, just like you do my friend Saida.
Saida. Yeah, I'm a
Did
chopper.
you say it correctly this time?
Because I just heard you say it.
Oh. Balance is important, and like you were saying, Greg, about being in alignment with yourself, that has to be the number one priority before anything else.
Right.
And you have to take that time, going back to what our topic is feeling like your brain is healed. That also includes healing your inner self, your inner fears, your inner emotions. And we don't candy coat anything. Oh, it must be another earth sign.
Yeah.
Well,
Fact.
well,
Facts,
as a fire sign, absolutely. I was made by two Virgos, so that is the reason why I adore Greg, because I'm able to understand. At least most of us are. No, yeah, you earth signs are something special. Anyways,
You want a bachata?
huh?
You want a bachata?
No, sir. No, thank you.
Is it a bachata from Puerto Rico?
No, it's not. It's Dominican Republic.
It's Dominican?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was from Puerto Rico.
No, DR.
Okay.
Pues salsa merengue.
You gotta say that slower.
Salsa, salsa merengue.
Oh, merengue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's us more DR, although we do it as well.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Wine and a merengue all in one.
I know. Comprendo.
Hablando español.
Piquito.
Muy bien. With that being said, I said muy bien. Very good.
Oh, okay. Gracias.
Okay, mi gente, yo no sé por qué está hablando español ahora, pero I would like to thank everyone who taps in and watched Greg and I. Make sure you guys shout out Greg for his nice, crisp outfit this evening with his tie. And we want to wish him safe travels. And make sure you guys follow us on our channels. You're Too Young to Have a Stroke. That's on YouTube. Instagram's Y2Y2 Have a Stroke. And of course on Facebook if you are watching on here. And next week is still in progress. We're looking to get a special guest on. I will, if everything falls into place, we'll be doing this wonderful live all alone as Greg is safely traveling So I will absolutely keep you guys up to date with that within the coming days. Other than that, again, thank you again so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you for your comments. Greg, always a pleasure,
My
sir.
sister,
I hope you
same
have a
here.
safe trip. And
Absolutely.
I will make sure that if once everything falls into place for next week, that I give you a nice shout out and I don't say too much. And just make you so proud of me.
I will. I already am.
Okay.
Have a good night,
I
everybody.
know.
Love you guys.
You should
Thank you
be.
guys so much.
Bye.